Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on a budget Narukami deck that I built. There's only very few cards from the Team Dragon's Vanity that are in here, but they are in here nonetheless, so the deck is kind of based off of that set release, and you'll see those cards as we go through it. So it's Barit Dragon. Barit Dragon is dirt cheap. He used to be the brake ride, the first brake ride for Narukami, because they did have two way back. So this is the one that came in the trial deck. So Barit Dragon. Oh, how I thought he would be so good, but he's not terrible. So Barit Dragon. This was my first Narukami deck that I built. That was not just the trial deck in standard, but anyway. He has two skills. One is a continuous Vanguard skill, which is if the opponent is grade 3, when he attacks, he battles all the opponent's front row units in one attack, which is really nice because it fits in with kind of like the binding thing where you bind front row, but when he hits the rear guards in the front row, they will get retired, they won't get bound. So they'll go to drop zone. Doesn't really matter though. It's easy way to blow up the front row, and yeah, not really anything else to say. There's no cost. You just swing and that's it. So it's pretty easy. And then his Vanguard Rearguard skill is a main phase once per turn. Counterblast 1, and your opponent moves each of his or her back row rearguards to an open front row. And they may move diagonally, which means if they have if they have only something in the back behind the Vanguard booster is forced to move to one of the intercept columns. So that's pretty cool. So that's Barit Dragon. He can do that as a rearguard as well. The other grade 3, you can run if you don't have this guy. So this is Detonix Dragon. He's basically a brake ride, because when he's rode upon, you can call him to rearguard, and one of your Vanguards gets 10k power. That's basically like a brake ride. So I thought he was nice in here because this guy used to be a brake ride. In fact, he used to be a limit break, I believe a 10k Vanguard that didn't have the. I forgot what he did, but yeah, there's two forms of this card actually, if I remember. Kind of like Ezel, not Ezel. Garmor. Anyway, moving on. So we got Detonix Dragon. He has a Vanguard Rearguard effect when placed. Counterblast 1. Choose an opponent's rearguard in the front row, bind it, and he gets 5k power. So very, very straightforward. There's a lot of other choices that you could run. You could run like rares that have main phase skill. I know there's one. I forgot what it was called, but it's like Counterblast 1. It's once per turn. Vanguard effect. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose one of the opponent's rearguards and bind it. It's like a basic effect. So if you don't have this guy, you can run that. Or you can even run the trial deck, Hollow. But anyway, this is the grade 3 lineup that I went with. So just 4 and 4. It's very standard. Next, I'm running 4 Recklessness Dragon. He's basically like Berserk Dragon for Narukami. He's from a trial deck, so you get a play set just by getting the trial deck. Very easy. Very cheap, easy budget card. When placed on Vanguard Rearguard, he's your best turn 2 ride. Counterblast 1, choose an opponent's rearguard front row bind it. Very straightforward. Then when he attacks, if the opponent's front row has 1 or less rearguards, he gets 3k, so he swings 12. When he attacks Vanguard, not rearguard. Alright, so here's where the deck starts getting a little bit more interesting. So we're running 4 Dragon Dancer Naomi. So people probably glance at this card and are like, this only has 3k, why are you running this? It's like, it's trash, it isn't even a superior intercept. But the thing about this card is it has 2 critical. A lot of people don't really notice. Maybe people who play the game enough are aware of this, but Excel has grade 2 with only 3k that have 2 critical. So if this thing hits, it's 2 damage. So because of that, we usually go Excel 1 so that you can place this on top of the circle and it becomes 13. So you can swing to even a Force Vanguard like Messiah or something, or Mordred, and swing 13 and pressure them to do something or give up their blaster dart and intercept him off, because this thing is going to deal like a lot of damage if it hits. This will also influence the trigger lineup a bit because of this card's effect. This is a common, it's dirt cheap, it's easy to get. There's also, I believe there's another one. No, actually, I think this is the first one. It's Dragon Dancer. So I tried to go with the Dragon Dancer theme because there never was like a pure Dragon Dancer build in Vanguard ever. So I tried to put as many of them in to try to give the deck some sort of flavor, some sort of like theme or identity besides just Barit Dragon. Anyway, next we've got Turning Bash Dragon. So this guy's a common from set 5, which is the same set that I believe Yeah, Thunderbreak was from, and I think Detonix is also from that one. No, he's from the previous one. He's from the very first release for Narukami in Standard. But anyway, Turning Bash Dragon. Rearguard effect. So we only run 3 because he only has a rearguard effect. If it was a Vanguard rearguard effect, then I might want to run 4 of him. But the deck revolves more around heavy critical pressure on the Excel 1 line. So, or you could potentially, well, you'll see. There is a grade 1 that helps her hit the right number if you don't have her on the Excel circle. Anyway, when it attacks, if the opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 1, choose one of the opponent's front row, rearguards, and blast. So just another simple way to bind an opponent's Vanguard, rear guard. So you have 4 of these, you have 3 of those, he battles the front row, this thing blows something up in the front row when he's placed on Vanguard or rearguard circle. Lots of ways, cheap ways to blow up opponent's rearguards. It's just going to make them annoyed because they, especially if it's like Aqua Force or someone who has to commit a lot to the field, they're just going to feel like their stuff just keeps getting wiped off the board every turn. For grade 1s, we're running Dragon Dancer, Eluisa, or Eluisa. I think that's how you say her name. Anyway, so Dragon Dancer Sentinel, draw and discard 1. I don't know why Anastasia wasn't the Sentinel one. Instead, she's a grade 1 that we aren't actually using in this deck. Instead, we're running Dragon Dancer RaiRai. So we got 4 of the good perfect grade 1 perfect guard, because you got to run the newer, better one. It got reprinted in Team Dragon's Vanity, so why not? And then Dragon Dancer RaiRai's in here because she searches Thunderbreak Dragon. So when placed on Vanguard or rearguard circle, she's your best turn 1 ride. Or when the attack or the attack it boosted hits, look at 7. So it's kind of good in a way. It might be a little bit better than the Searcher, than the standard like call down, check top 5, search for grade 3, because when it attacks or the attack it boosted hits, that's why you either ride this early, swing with it if you went second, or put this behind the Vanguard, because usually they'll no guard the Vanguard a couple turns. You get to check 7, not 5. You get to look at 7 and search for Thunderbreak, add it in your hand, and then she goes into the Soul. And then that's nice because that synergizes with this guy who uses Soul Blast for his cost. And the thing is, this guy doesn't even have to hit, he just has to attack. And the thing is, he doesn't even have to attack a Vanguard to do his skill. So, you'll be seeing that effect quite a couple times pretty easily, so RaiRai helps fill the Soul. And then we're running Desert Gunner Gaiban, because this guy has, at the end of the battle that your Vanguard attacked, choose one of the opponents, or choose one of your units, and it gets 3k, and the opponent cannot call Sentinels. So this, combined with this, becomes very problematic for them. And it can happen pretty early as long as they're, yeah, they don't even have to be at grade 3, which is pretty interesting. I didn't even remember that. Okay, so 4 of him, because he basically helps you get that semi-guard restriction capability. And then the last grade 1 is another new card, Dragon Dancer Ramolna? It's an L. Ramolna. So we run 2 of her because you put her in the rearguard column behind Naomi if you have to call Naomi to a non-Excel circle. Because this swings, this is what, 9 and 3, so that's your 12 to a Protect or another Excel Vanguard. So that way you can still pressure without the Excel circle. So that's why we run the 9k. It's also a pretty good turn 1 ride as well, and its budget is dirt cheap. Doesn't have any shield, so you notice the weaknesses of the deck is they don't have a lot of shield. There's not a lot of guard compared to Dragonic Vanquisher. So for the trigger lineup, this might make some people wonder why we're doing this. So I'm running 8 critical because, and I'm telling you guys 8 critical, I'm telling you to go Excel 1, so that sounds kind of counterintuitive, because I'm also running 4 fronts. I'm not running any draw triggers in here at all. Because this deck is fully rush, make sure the opponent can't build up a board with proper columns, because you keep on you keep on binding their rear guards in the front row, so they'll be hesitant to call them down. So then when you have to swing, and they have to swing with stuff like this, they'll have to throw that stuff out of their hand to get them that extra 5k shield that they needed, so they can try to survive to another turn. So it's kind of a heavy rush deck. It gains advantage by keep blowing up the opponent's stuff. You can go Excel 2. It's not like you don't have to go Excel 2. And that's the main reason why we're running the grade 1 9K vanilla. Because if you want to go Excel 2, and you have this on a rear guard circle in the back row, you don't need to go Excel 1. You can just call her here. And the other thing too is we're running front triggers. Front trigger combined with critical trigger is extremely scary because, first of all, the front takes away the guessing out of where to put your triggers. So you could even run like 6 front if you wanted in this deck. Just know that what you do is you swing with your Vanguard first, and because of that, front triggers make sense, and that combos really well with Gaiban, because Gaiban's effect will activate at the end of the battle the Vanguard attacked. So he can give something 3k power, and then the opponent cannot call Sentinels from hand for the battle the chosen unit attacked. So you usually give that to Naomi. So you make her 6, and then, you know, with the front trigger, she's now 16, and if she was on the Excel 1 circle, she's 26. So that's very problematic for them, right? And then if you check a critical on top of that, you can give her the critical and you put 10k power on something else, and then swing with her last after you use the other thing to attack the Vanguard or whatever. So it depends on what amount of damage they're at. So that just gives you guys a couple of ideas. I forgot to show just the heal triggers of the other trigger, and then the starter is Barit Dracokid, but the starter doesn't really matter, just run one of them. It's a budget deck. So I hope you guys got some entertainment value out of that deck, because I feel like these budget decks are more interesting than your run-of-the-mill standard out-of-the-box or, you know, like my competitive tournament level whatever deck that's all foiled out, it's all blinged out. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that deck profile video, and I'll be back with a couple more budget decks in the future, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.